The WNBA and the networks, they sent a clear message with this schedule, and the message was sent to Angel Reese. You are not a draw.
41-9. That's not just a score, it's a statement. That's the breakdown of national TV games the WNBA just announced. 41 for Caitlin Clark, and just 9 for Angel Reese. And here's the kicker. 4 of Reese's games only. Made the cut because she's facing Clark. The numbers don't lie, and they're telling a story the media doesn't want to say out loud. For years, we've been told Angel Reese is the unstoppable force, the face of women's basketball. But when the networks put that narrative to the test, without Clark in the mix, Reese's games couldn't even crack 200,000 viewers. The truth about who's really moving the needle in this league is out now. And let's be honest, it's not even close.
Any sense? I know the WNBA dump isn't known for making smart business decisions. I mean, this is the same league that's been operating for 30 years and has never managed to generate an Indian rupee in profit.
Have you seen the new WNBA TV schedule? It just dropped, and the numbers are stunning. When you look at who's getting prime airtime and who's being pushed to the sidelines, the league's priorities couldn't be clearer. These choices speak volumes about who the networks and the league believe is the real moneymaker in women's basketball. So let's break it down and see what the numbers are really saying.
I know the diva of dump divas, Kat Engelbert, in the WNBA front office. They're not known for making the best decisions. But when it comes to scheduling nationally televised games and who to feature in those games, this should be simple.
For years, we've been told that Angel Reese is a massive superstar. The media has pushed the narrative that she's the face of women's basketball, someone who supposedly draws huge viewership numbers. But when you take a closer look at the new TV schedule, something doesn't quite add up.
Simple. For the last 2 or 3 years, the mainstream media has been telling us that Angel Reese is the biggest star in pretend basketball. This woman is amazing! I've never seen anything like it! I've never seen another player dominate the game in garbage. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought the WNBA was the league dedicated to equity. Looking at their national TV schedule, there is nothing equitable about it. Caitlin Clark will play 44 games in the regular season. 41 of those games will be broadcast on national television or national platforms. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought the WNBA was the league dedicated to equity. Looking at their national TV schedule, there is nothing equitable about it. Caitlin Clark will play 44 games in the regular season. 41 of those games will be broadcast on national television or a national platform.
Let's start with Caitlin Clark. The rookie out of Iowa is getting an unbelievable amount of national coverage. 41 out of her 44 games will be broadcast on major platforms. That's a staggering 93% of her season. The message from the networks is loud and clear. If Clark is playing, it's going on TV. This isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented.
The media has been telling us that Angel Reese is the star. Remember last season when the mainstream media spent the entire summer diminishing the impact of Caitlin Clark? 41 of 44 games on national platforms. Clearly, both the WNBA and the networks disagree with that assessment.
Now compare that to Angel Reese. How many national TV games did she get? Just 9. That's right. Only 9 of her games will air on major networks that fans actually tune into. We're not talking about obscure streaming platforms or channels buried in the depths of a cable package. We mean real, prime-time national exposure. And even that number? It's a bit misleading.
So how many games involving Angel Reese will be nationally televised? 9! With 4 of those 9 games involving Caitlin Clark.
Here's where it gets really awkward for Reese. Out of those 9 national TV appearances, 4 are only happening because she's playing against Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in. Nearly half of her nationally televised games aren't even about her. They're about the matchup. The networks aren't prioritizing Reese's other games. They're only interested when she's sharing the court with the league's biggest draw. It's clear. The spotlight isn't on her. It's on the drama when she faces off with the real star.
For the better part of 3 years, the media has tried to convince us that Angel Reese is a star. Angel Reese has played along with her pretend friends by claiming that she has elevated the hobby of pretend basketball.
Take Clark out of the equation, and Angel Reese is left with just 5 standalone national TV games. That's it. If that's not the definition of not being a ratings draw, I don't know what is. The networks have crunched the numbers, studied the viewership trends, and come to a clear conclusion. Without Caitlin Clark, Reese just doesn't bring enough eyeballs to the screen.
The reason people are watching women's basketball is because of Me Too. You know, that's rather interesting because over the last 2 months, Angel Reese was given the opportunity to prove that she is a draw.
This isn't about personal preferences or which player you happen to like more. It's strictly business. TV networks have one job: deliver viewers to advertisers. And based on their scheduling decisions, they've made it crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is worth nearly 8 times more airtime than Angel Reese. That's not a minor gap. It's a massive difference. A total mismatch in star power.
Over the last 2 months, and for the first time in her career, Angel Reese was given the opportunity to prove herself without the assistance of Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese was the only recognizable name in Unrivaled.
You might be wondering, why are the networks being so blatant about this preference? The answer is simple. They've tested the market. They've looked at the data, tracked the numbers, and the results speak for themselves. When Clark is on the court, viewership soars. But when it's just Reese, the numbers paint a much quieter picture.
Over the last 2 months, Angel Reese was given the opportunity to prove that she was a draw, an attraction, and the end result was exactly as predicted right here on the channel: huge, embarrassing failure.
The networks didn't just take a wild guess about these viewership trends. They ran a real-world experiment that settled the debate once and for all. For 2 full months, Unrivaled gave Angel Reese a golden opportunity to prove she could draw an audience on her own, without riding anyone else's momentum. This wasn't some low-stakes trial. It was a full-scale showcase with serious promotion. Behind it, the perfect chance for Reese to back up the hype with real numbers. And wow, those numbers told quite a story.
Angel Reese could not draw flies to a fresh turd. Unrivaled struggled to eclipse 200,000 viewers most nights, but that's okay. Angel Reese can always rely on her pretend friends in the mainstream media to polish the turd.
Despite all the hype and heavy marketing behind Unrivaled, the show consistently struggled to even hit 200,000 viewers on most nights. Let that sink in. Fewer people than it takes to fill 3 NFL stadiums were tuning in to watch a player who's been billed as one of the biggest names in women's basketball. That kind of turnout doesn't scream superstar. It raises serious questions.
No, I mean Caitlin Clark. If you removed her from this team, the Felines would have 0 games on national TV. Instead, they've got 10 games on ABC, which is 10 of the 13 games that the WNBA will have on on ABC this season. 8 games on something called ION, 7 games on CBS, including the first primetime game in the dump to be broadcast in prime time on broadcast television.
When Caitlin Clark steps on the court, the broadcast numbers don't just double, they skyrocket. We're talking regular season games consistently, pulling in over 1 million viewers, and when it comes to the big matchups, those numbers surge to 2 to 3 million. The contrast between her and the rest, it couldn't be more obvious. It's night and day.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of Me Too, and I want y'all to realize that.
What makes this even more telling is how Reese positioned herself before the experiment flopped. She literally said, "The reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of Me Too." Those were her exact words. She wasn't just confident. She was claiming co-star status, suggesting she was just as much of a draw as Caitlin Clark. But once the numbers came in, that narrative didn't hold up.
Media has spent the last 2 months trying to convince us that Unrivaled was an unrivaled success. Kinda like they spent the last 2 years trying to convince us that Angel Reese is a draw. But don't look at their words. Look at the action.
But when the spotlight turned solely on Angel Reese, without the Clark effect, the audience just didn't show up. Not even close. The experiment couldn't have flopped harder if they'd planned it. And what's almost laughable is how some media outlets tried to spin these disastrous numbers as some kind of win. They scrambled to cover it up, acting like everything was fine, pretending the emperor still had clothes, when the numbers told a very different story.
WNBA released their schedule of nationally televised games. Damn near every article that I read was focused on Caitlin Clark. Why? Because the WNBA sent a clear message with the release of their schedule. It's a message that normal people have understood all along. Angel Reese is not a draw.
You have to understand what this means in the business world. TV networks don't base scheduling decisions on personal favorites or Instagram popularity. They care about one thing: cold, hard viewership data. They poured real money into testing Angel Reese's star power in real time, and the results were undeniable. The numbers weren't just disappointing, they were a disaster. There's no gray area here. The verdict was loud and clear.
PM. But when it comes to true national platforms, national TV networks people actually watch, Angel Reese has a grand total of 9 games on national television.
Just think about how embarrassing this must be for someone who's been marketed as a dominant force in women's basketball. All the talk about being a cultural icon, about driving interest and shifting the game. And then, when she finally gets her own platform with no one else to share the spotlight, the audience disappears. The hype couldn't hold without the support.
You tell me who is the real star. You tell me who the networks believe will draw ratings.
When the spotlight shines its brightest, it reveals who you really are, and behavior says it all. Just look at the stark contrast between how Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese carry themselves when the cameras aren't rolling. It's like watching 2 completely different approaches to fame. And that difference? It speaks volumes about who's truly confident in their star power, and who's still trying to prove they belong.
You see, when you're a real star, when you're a real draw, you don't have to bring attention to yourself. The attention naturally finds you. You don't have to go on social media and post pictures in your new bikini. You don't have to turn yourself into the ultimate victim when lonely men comment on your picture.
Real stars don't have to beg for attention. They don't need to stir up drama or constantly remind the world of their worth. The spotlight finds them naturally because their talent does the talking. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Caitlin Clark. She stays focused, handles her business, and lets her game speak louder than any headline ever could.
I think Angel Reese knows she's not a draw. You know how I know that? Because Angel Reese is constantly doing things to bring attention on herself.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese seems to be constantly chasing validation online. Just this past weekend, she posted something along the lines of, "People always say I'm so nice when they meet me in person." Think about that for a second. Who says that unprompted? It doesn't come off as casual. It feels like a carefully crafted attempt to gain sympathy and shift the narrative. It's the kind of post you make when you're trying hard to reshape how people see you.
Over the weekend, Angel Reese was once again begging for the attention of lonely men on social media. Check it out for yourself. Hey there, lonely men, it's me, Angel Reese. You want to hear a funny? When people meet me in person, they constantly tell me how nice I am and how I'm negatively portrayed on social media. Isn't that hilarious?
And it's not just a one-off. There's a clear pattern in Reese's social media behavior. First, she posts something provocative or controversial, fully aware it'll stir up a reaction. Then, the moment she gets the backlash she was likely expecting, she flips the script and plays the victim. It's like clockwork. Spark drama. Act. Surprised. Claim victimhood. The cycle keeps repeating because, for her, staying in the spotlight seems to depend on keeping the drama alive.
When is the last time Kate Clark went viral for something he said or did on social media? To my knowledge, it's never happened.
Now try to recall the last time Caitlin Clark went viral for something she posted online. Can't think of one, right? That's because it pretty much never happens. Clark isn't out there chasing clout with Instagram drama or Twitter feuds. She doesn't have to. Her talent on the court speaks volumes and generates all the buzz she needs. No theatrics required.
You expect me to believe random strangers approach you on the street and tell you how nice you are? Look, I'm sure Angel Reese is a nice woman. I have nothing against her on a personal level. Hell, I don't know her person, but it's shit like this. It's this attention-seeking behavior that damages her credibility.
What's really going on is that Reese's constant social media activity is exposing something deeper, something she likely doesn't want people to notice. Deep down, she seems to realize she's not the main draw, not the one pulling in the viewership she's been hyped up to deliver. And that realization clearly gets to her. It's why she's always online, fishing for praise and reassurance, trying to fill that uncomfortable gap.
Angel Reese is constantly seeking attention. She craves the spotlight because she knows the spotlight is shining brightest away from her. She knows Caitlin Clark is the star. She knows Caitlin Clark is the only reason people are watching the WNBA. More importantly, Angel Reese knows people are not watching her, and judging by her behavior, it bothers her.
The contrast couldn't be clearer. One player lets her game do the talking, staying mostly silent online while racking up wins on the court. The other, constantly posting, stirring up drama and chasing the spotlight. It's the difference between someone secure in their value and someone still trying to prove they're relevant, not just to the world, but maybe even to themselves.
WNBA releases their national TV schedule, and Caitlin Clark is heavily involved. Angel Reese has 9 games on national TV, with 4 of those 9 games involving Caitlin Clark. Do you think that bothers Angel Reese? Do you think it bothers her that she's not a draw?
So there it is. We're watching a classic shift unfold. One analysts have seen time and time again in every major sport. When a real star shows up, the cameras follow. This WNBA TV schedule? It's not about favoritism or hype. It's business. Networks chase the numbers, not the noise. And right now, all the numbers point in one direction.
WNBA releases their national TV schedule, and Caitlin Clark is heavily involved. Angel Reese has 9 games on national TV, with 4 of those 9 games involving Caitlin Clark. Do you think that bothers Angel Reese? Do you think it bothers her that she's not a draw?
This goes beyond just one season's TV schedule. It's a turning point. A clear, undeniable message about who's actually moving the needle in women's basketball. The networks didn't whisper it. They screamed it through 41 nationally televised games. No amount of social media spin or media-crafted narratives can rewrite what the viewership data already decided. The verdict is in, and it's loud. Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. The numbers don't lie, and neither does this schedule.